but there's effort between here and getting to that decision, because Miller Valentine, they haven't been as successful as they have been without being careful, making sure they're getting a good deal, doing their due diligence, doing their market study, and things like that. So,
can I say about Miller Valentine? I had reached out to Peter Schweiger out again and Denise Blake to see if they might send someone here today. And Peter left me a message that he is in over his head right now with projects in Iowa and Indiana. They are definitely still interested in Greenville, in this building. And he says he'll be able to turn his attention to it at the beginning and middle of November. And I was very heartened to hear that. What they and the developer in Brooklyn like is this next to our Memorial Hall. It's gonna make it a desirable place for people to live. They can come out, come to the library, take advantage of everything here. All the programs of historic downtown Greenville, Main Street, Greenville. I mean, there's a whole year-round things to do. There's all these affordable senior housing behind Walmart. Now you can sail out and go shop at Walmart, but you can't sail out to DECA events or the library very easily. Let me mention to the developer in Brooklyn, mentioned the day we talked of his upscale, and I guess he wanted to know how many square feet was in the building. I had shared a lot of information and they knew some details. But he projected $1,100 to $1,200 rent a month for the upscale. And I would think that would include heating and cooling, that would be separate. But that's what his figures were in his mind to make work for them.
he's got his.
And it's Tricon Development, Rafi Weiss, and on their website you can see they've done $38 billion worth of projects and manage $18 billion. They're a big concern, and they are excited about downtown Greenville, Ohio, next to this beautiful Memorial Hall building.
I have a question. What's your thoughts on having apartments / retail / maybe even like a museum of some sort? Could all that be in one building? Combination of all three? It could be a destination inside apartments as well.
I think it could.
Yeah, I was just gonna, I think a lot of it depends on the market study and what the need is for the community. So really until we have those answers, it's hard to know. But I think the building does have the potential for that. It just kind of depends on what the need is and then how we move to fulfill that.
For example, mine has the large gymnasium space. At first, it's 2-story now.
Yeah.
The remaining part will be the first story. That could be a fitness center, or it could be something else. If the market or demand showed some other use for that, or need.
And you could also rent out for indoor events as well and do all that. And you can charge for use of the gymnasium for whatever event that you want to have.
How about some dances?
Yeah, well, sure. Yeah.
I know, having worked with developers, I mean, they're in the business to make money. So if it's not making money for them and it's costing them to heat or maintain or whatever, they've got to offset that with some other income.
So I just thought maybe it just make it more visually attractive. It would also bring people in and out and sort of animating type of place, where activities going on besides housing, maybe housing at the top floor, and then maybe other things down below, retail, even art center of some sort.
Don't know if you need a big assembly space for meetings. If Memorial Hall's not big enough, or you need a little conference center or something like that.
Right.
Use that fitness area.
Use for anything. It's endless possibilities.
Can you share with us some of the other space that's being created and used in Eden? Doesn't Sinclair have some classroom space.
They were.
They're going to have a restaurant. Is this still in the offing?
I didn't, I know they're gonna have, they're gonna maintain the kitchen and the cafeteria, so they're gonna have food service there.
Well,
But I didn't know about the restaurant.
We called it the Bistro of Eden was going to be
Okay.
opening there.
Okay.
And they're preserving their auditorium. Actually, it looks, when you're on the stage, looking out, it looks quite similar to our layout with the balcony.
It was beautiful. And when we walked into the Eaton School, it struck me that, and if anyone's seen the auditorium, it was a beautiful auditorium in high school. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, in my high school, it was nothing like that. It was a gymnasium, but it was also the auditorium, so.
But
they're
that's
gonna
being
preserve-
preserved
they're gonna
for
preserve that for the community, I believe.
movies, and then the stage will be available for productions.
Mhm.
So it's sort of a mixed
Yeah, and
residential.
to think about that, right, the developer made the numbers work,
Yeah.
even with those spaces,
Yeah.
so.
Does it also kind of come down to the fact of people just having appreciation for history and then up against people that don't give a damn about history? Does it come down to that, sort of some ways, either or?
Yeah,
To be blunt.
I like to keep all the beautiful things. I mean, I live in a house that was built in 1892.
Yeah.
And a lot of our work is renovation, older
Sure.
structures. And, you know, I'll go back to Cincinnati. I'll give, I guess, the city leaders kudos for preserving a lot of the old brownstones and things that
Yeah.
are in over the Rhine. It would be very easy to tear all this down and build something else. And they did that in some blocks, but, I mean, it's reaping benefits now because people are attracted to over the Rhine, to Vine Street,
Yeah.
to Republic, to the Music Hall area because of the beautiful buildings. you know.
And how can you say our area is historic if you tear down things that are historic? Then it just becomes a sterilized area. in a
Yeah, you
sense.
can't replace it. You have to.
And you can't say historic when you don't have history there.
Right.
See, so, right. You have to keep history and say you're historic.
Well, and again, you talked about the bones of the building.
Yeah.
That's really important because you know, we've seen a lot of buildings that were built in the 70s and 80s, and they're almost, it's kind of disposable architecture. And I hate to refer to that because the architects were as guilty as that as anyone else. It's designed to last 20 or 30 years, 40 at the most. Tear it down, build something else. You know, but the craftsmen that built things in the turn of the century, look at Europe. Their buildings there, they're 500 years old. And it's amazing, we go to over the Rhine, and there's a building that hasn't had a roof for literally the last 15 years.
Wow.
And it's been raining and snowing, and the wood floors are gone,
Wow.
but the heavy timber oak beams and the masonry walls are still there. And they turn them back into housing, they turn them into restaurants, they turn them into things that actually, they have a character.
You see in Dayton where there's two gentlemen that purchased a large building, downtown Dayton, close to Oregon District, a huge building, they just purchased it and they're gonna be turning that building into housing, retail, storage. And that was on the front page of Dayton's paper just the other day. And they're doing it there. They said they have overwhelming response of people wanting to move in, they can't wait to move in.
Cincinnati Public School sold a lot of their older buildings because, the board knows this. This building does not suit the needs and purposes of children of today. You know, with the technology and the needs that the students need. So the city of Cincinnati sold off a lot of their buildings, consolidated some of their schools, and so those buildings have been repurposed as apartments.
Yeah.
As a hotel, there's a developer out of Indianapolis that's building a hotel in the old School of Creative and Performing Arts in downtown Cincinnati. With that beautiful building, tremendous rookwood pottery and tile and things like that throughout the building, and so it'll be a beautiful boutique hotel at some point.
Yeah, I hate to see, we lost the State Theater, that's gone in the parking lot. Then we lost the Depot on Front Street.
It's a
That's
parking
a
lot
trash
too.
loss. What's that?
Undeveloped parking lot.
Yeah.
That's what they made.
Right.
The State Theater was a movie theater that had like red velvet interior, just a beautiful
It was the Opera
theater.
House originally.
And
John Dillon stayed there.
they had free shows on the weekend that we went in the 70s as kids, and it's just, they turned it into a small parking lot close to the circle. It's just-
Right.
all the parking spaces Greenville has is totally unnecessary.
But the residents weren't asked what they thought. Same way with the depot, just all of a sudden it was gone.
Right, it was gone.
The
Yeah, the
people that
train
are
depot was
from here
taken
and
away.
live here,
Wayne's
Should have an
headquarters,
opinion.
General Anthony Wayne, the original fort up here, his headquarters were torn down.
And the old
The
fire
fort could be
station.
designated as.
Yeah, I'd like
A
to
lot of
point out,
mistakes.
from the City of Greenville's comprehensive plan, community image and infrastructure, one of the goals, continue preservation and promotion of Greenville's historic and cultural resources as community assets. Creative incentives for the adaptive reuse of historic structures. So it's not like we're not setting that goal for a community. We are. We just need to come together as a community. And not part of us going this way and part of us trying to go that way. And part of your mission statement, I might remind you, is to enhance your community relation, develop, lead the way in developing.
Well, I think that, you know, I appreciate the mayor coming today. We don't really have a dog in the fight. We were just asked to come here and do some preliminary plan. So I'm we're from Cincinnati, so I can kind of speak from outside. You know, but I can sympathize with the board too. And you know, you're moving on to another school. You have this thing, you have this liability, right? That you need to do something with. Even when the kids move out, you've got to pay insurance, you've got, I guess, maintain it, board it up.
We can't just, we gotta take care of it. We gotta
Right.
take through the landscaping, you know, so I mean, it just comes down to us from a, and it's not that we don't care about history. I mean, I've heard that a few times. I'm trying to take it personal, but I do take it personal. I mean, I've been part of plenty of renovation projects. I work at EB Engineering in Dayton.
Okay, sure.
So I mean, I've done lots of these projects, seen them be very successful. And I've also been I've also seen building owners or local communities sell a building to a developer, and then it sits for 2 years, and it's an eyesore. And back to your point, developers like to make money, and that the concept of having retail and all those things, it sounds great, except for one, you gotta have tenants, retail tenants, and having, you know, community space in general, unless it's going to be for housing, that doesn't make it, you know, I never go long enough to know, like, you're not gonna rent that community space 7 days a week and get $1 per square foot for it every month. It's just not gonna happen. So again, it's not just knowing, and I've talked, you know, at the planning and zoning meeting, a gentleman asked me, you know, if the school district had solicited developers. Well, we haven't not solicited developers, but I have talked to people that do pro formas and on the side, people that I've known for 10 or 15 years and trust their opinion, and then doing a quick performance swag for me, for lack of a better description. Doing a private market, he called me back like a day and a half later, he's like, I can't make it work two ways a Sunday based on what I think you guys can get rental rates for in Greenville. And he didn't think we could get $1,200 a month. But that, again, there's a market analysis that needs to be done, et cetera. That would be something the developer would do up front at their own risk. It's not something the school district takes. The school district doesn't take on the market analysis to tell somebody how to develop
If
it.
you're not the
No
housing.
one asked you.
No, I'm not saying, you know,
What do you ask?
but so it's back to the risk. It's a timeline thing for us. Is, you know, the state of Ohio by midsummer, they want projects closed out for all practical purposes from a paperwork standpoint. And the state of Ohio has helped funding the abatement and demolition of all 4 buildings. I would readily agree, Richard, that the Memorial Hall has the most value in terms of how it's built and what it's the biggest piece of the pie, you know, to take down. But it's only, so there's our conundrum. You know, and, you know, Miller Valentine, it doesn't have to be Miller Valentine, it can be somebody else. Somebody has a good reputation, you know, we're not gonna sell it to a developer that doesn't have a verified good reputation. We're not gonna sell it to a developer who probably hasn't been in business at least 30 or 40 years. Because the reason being is, I don't want to sell developers who've been in business for 15 years. Because if their money dries up, they're gonna leave that building, and even though the school district doesn't own it anymore, it's not gonna do anything downtown, it's gonna make it worse, because it's not gonna get taken care of. So there's all these things that you gotta have the right buyer. And, you know, Miller Valentine, it doesn't have to be Miller Valentine, it can be somebody else. So there's our conundrum. and, you know, I shared, you know, we have a